Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. This session focuses on issues of linguistic unity in Pakistan. I hope and expect by the end of this session you would be able to understand the issues related to the linguistic unity in Pakistan. Well, my dear students, when we look at the issues of connectivity and of unity in Pakistan in the backdrop of multilingualism and multiculturalism, it becomes a significant issue. In fact, it is a two-way process where, there is a unity in diversity and there is a diversity in unity. It more sounds like a cliched, saying, but actually when we look at it in depth and we try to explore that, this is exactly how, it operates in Pakistan. There are different issues of identity that are related to this linguistic diversity that hamper the process of this unity. On the other hand, there are certain unifying forces and, certain elements of language that serve as unifying forces to, overcome this diversity and thus allow, the whole community or the whole state to be unified. The issues that are related to this particular area of linguistic diversity are related to cultural identity, political identity, and linguistic identity. When it comes to cultural identity, because in Pakistan the case is that mostly the languages are very strongly and directly linked to cultures. And, it is a layman's belief that these cultures are represented through these languages. So, choosing or preferring one language over the other in the regional context then becomes an issue of, preferring one culture over the other culture. There are certain issues of political identity as well in this political identity agenda, the center and the provinces and the interrelationship of the provinces amongst themselves and the relationship of provinces or the provincial government with the central government. All these play, their roles as key elements. The issues of political identity, of course, then relate back to the issues of historical context of, ideologies as well. As far as the issue of linguistic identity in itself is concerned in this diverse sociocultural context, the ideas of ownership of a certain language, the ideas of relating themselves as a group or as an ethnicity to a particular language, and thus using that language as a kind of identity marker for themselves. These are certain key elements that operate. Ethnic and racial identities are also closely associated and they are closely knitted with linguistic identities in Pakistan, and there is a huge diversity in that sense. So, in all this context, language somehow becomes a dividing power. It divides the nation, it divides the bigger community into sub-communities of regions and of provinces and of ethnicities, etc., where, the issues of power are reflected in these kind of identifications with certain groups. However, on the other hand, in this complex web of languages in the Pakistani context, there are certain linguistic elements that work as a unifying force. There are two major elements that I would talk about. One is English and the other is Urdu. When it comes to Urdu as historically being related to the ideology of the creation of Pakistan, and as currently it is given, throughout the history from the creation of Pakistan to the current times, we see it as, the national language of Pakistan. So, its status is undisputed in the sense of being a unifying force that brings these diverse sociolinguistic elements together. And, of course, the historical, context of its use as an ideological force in the creation of Pakistan plays a significant role in this context. Apart from that, English is also a language that is used as a lingua franca in Pakistan, and that is also one of the languages that is used for official purposes alongside Urdu. So, mutual intelligibility and mutual understanding, when this comes to, the point of, processes of communication amongst people from different regions and from different provinces, English also serves as a tool in this particular sense to unify people.